Good evening, everyone. Welcome to 1 Foot Forward with Harmit. While we're waiting for the people to join in, let's enjoy some serene music and set up the tone for today's session. I'm just waiting for Dilip to join us, and then we can start the session for today. Thanks for joining in early. There should always be early bird prize, but then the only incentive you get today is to watch the full show. I will just ping to Dilip to join on a separate note. Just give me a moment. I think he's facing some issues in joining. Okay, I think he's just going to join us. Yeah, I have again sent the request to Dilip, and okay, great. I think we have Dilip on the call. Thank you, Dilip.
Hi, Harmit.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, welcome everyone. 𝗖𝘆𝗰𝗋𝗿, Namaskar, and welcome to the second episode of 1 Foot Forward with Harmit. First of all, on behalf of the entire One Race team, I would congratulate all the participants of Tata Mumbai Marathon 2024 that was held today. So I think everybody had a great time, so fantastic. And as you all know, that One Race has been single-mindedly pursuing the goal of spreading happiness and promoting a healthy lifestyle. So today, we have to rediscover the passion of cycling. Just imagine the expression or visualize the exuberance of a child who has recently learned to cycle independently or pedal for the first time. Does that bring back some beautiful memories of your childhood to you or to your children when you see them exuberating this kind of confidence when they pedal for the first time? Well, let's rediscover that passion today. So get on the seat with Dalip Singh Sabharwal and cycle your way to a fitter world. As I mentioned, my guest today is Dalip, who is an avid cyclist, and he has been doing some serious cycling for many years as well as running. He has done many century rides, and he has conquered some beautiful distances like Delhi to Chandigarh, which is 265 kilometers in a single day, and more audacious, Delhi, Agra, Delhi, which is 400 kilometers in 2 days, and that too wearing formals. So, some remarkable achievements. And for his contribution, he has also been recently honored at the Runners Awards events. So, without further ado, now I will get to my guest, which is Dilip. Thank you, Dilip, for joining One Foot Forward with Harmeet by One Race. How are you?
Thank you, Harmit, having me in your session. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing as well. So, Dilip, let's get to the first question of the session today. I was very intrigued when I was reading your bio, which was regarding the first cycling mayor of Delhi. So, can you tell the people who've joined us today on the show as to what this is all about and what's basically the charter for the cycling mayor?
All right. Bicycle Mayor Network is a program which is run by Bikes Foundation, which is actually based in Netherlands, Amsterdam, Netherlands, and they now have a wing in India as well, which is Bikes India Foundation. So many people who actually are advocating cycling for commute, and because if you will read at the back of at the back, you will see it says cycling transforms cities and cities transform the world. So with the same thoughts and the mindset, the like-minded people have been selected as a bicycle mayor for their respective cities. So right now in India only, we have around 55 bicycle mayors in different cities who are advocating cycling to commute, and they are doing their bit in their own way.
So, can you give us more details about this program, which is cycling to commute? Because in our urban lifestyle, we see posh cars, people moving from one place to other on the cars, or those lovely SUVs that everybody are proud of owning today. So, can you just give a more depth into cycling to commute? What does this
Uh,
mean?
cycling to commute is nothing new for us. In India, especially if we talk about cycling, cycling used to be the only mode of transportation for many of us. If I, think of my childhood, my dad used to, ride bicycle, and we used to, go with him on a bicycle. I believe, I was 7 or 8 years old when he bought a two-wheeler. So yes, when you talk about cars as well, I was one of them who used to, drive cars for my everyday commute to my work. But lately, I realized uh, that I was not doing justice to my city. I was not doing justice to the environment, and I was not doing justice to the health of my city. So somehow then, I took a decision and got back onto the saddle and started using bicycle for my local commutes, and it's been 5 6 years now. So I have reduced my car usage, brought it down to 20%, and that 20% is also very limited to when I need to take my family out, or in case of emergency, or odd hours.
So, very interesting, Dilip. How much do you cycle in a day? That's the question which suddenly comes to my mind.
See, if I need to go to my work, it is just 8 kilometers from my home. So 8 kilometers, in the morning, and 8 kilometers back in the evening. Uh, Other than that, even if I need to, go and attend any conference or any seminar or anywhere, I need to go local. So I prefer, taking my bicycle. So up to 20 kilometers over, on over the weekends, if I need to go and meet somebody or for a meeting, I use my bicycle. So if I'm, going solo, I would prefer, riding a bicycle. And if it's not cyclable, then I would prefer, taking a public transport. But yeah, using car is now the last option for me.
Okay, so you kind of made a very conscious decision that in your work environment or in your daily commute, wherever it is possible, your first option is going to be cycle. The second option is going to be the public transport, and the car is going to be the last bit.
Yes, you can say that.
Okay. And how you just mentioned that you've been doing this for 7 years. So how many people have accepted this, looking at you as leading an example? And what kind of resistance have you heard from the other people when you're trying to bring this change?
See, resistance is actually, resistance comes from the privileged ones. Otherwise, you see there are a lot many livelihood cyclists. We call them captive cyclists. They have no other option. They cycle, every day. But yes, since I have started cycling, I see many. There are quite a few cyclists from my group only who have started cycling to their work, and people do notice you when you ride bicycle on the road to your work every day, wearing suits and all that. I remember last Saturday only I met with one of the biker. He used to notice me every day. It was like he told me that it was for the past 3 years he was watching me every day, going to my work. So the other day he stopped and he told me that, yeah, I've been looking at you, so I also want to you do cycling. So I'm getting my cycle repaired and I will join you from next week. So yeah, people do watch, and there are people who want to do it, but yes, they're hesitant. There are different factors for it, and I think that hesitation comes because you have not experienced that as of now. So you just assume that okay, there would be challenges, but I think for every challenge there is a solution, uh, and that only comes when you try and experience it yourself.
Okay. So do you think the weather is going to be playing a vital role in person deciding, let's say, for example, in middle of summers, when the moment you get out, you start sweating, right? And especially with the, the surds all across where their beards need to be neat and clean, like you and me, how do you do that?
See, for me, I ride 12 months, no matter whether it's 40 plus degree or it's less than 5 degree. Um, you would agree, as a kid, we used to play in the summers, no matter what the temperature was. We used to play cricket, gully cricket, in hot summers. So, but as I said, the resistance and the conditions that we put, that comes from the privileged ones.
Mm-hmm.
Because even if you talk about the the heat waves, the cold waves, you would see that it's nothing but somewhere related to climate change that we are facing right nowadays.
Okay. So do you think that if we start cycling, we can reverse the climate? Is it possible?
Of course, yes. Why not? You look at the carbon emission, that we are generating every day. Look at the number of cars or the private vehicles that we have on the roads. I mean, don't go anywhere. Look at your surrounding. One family has 2 to 3 cars, and every person who is going out, they're taking different cars. So somewhere we have to, you would say that, I don't uh, advocate ban cars. I don't say that, but I always say, reduce your car usage. And I believe, by reducing our, carbon footprints, by reducing the carbon emission, we can play or we can contribute a lot.
Fantastic. So if I look at your charter, which is as a cycling mayor, what are your initiatives that you're taking in Delhi and Delhi NCR in this year in order to promote cycling for commute?
For, for
Cycling for commute, that's what you said.
Second
So,
for commute. See,
yeah.
we have taken a lot many initiatives in the past, and there are a lot many initiatives that are in the pipeline. I would like to discuss one of the initiatives that we took the last year. That was We Too. We Too campaign was somewhere, it was an awareness campaign when we took the play cards on the street, and we tried to, spread the awareness amongst the other vehicle users on the road. We tried to, make people aware that okay, the footpaths belong to the pedestrians and cycle tracks belong to the cyclists if there are any. And that was pretty successful. And later, then we also, we had a cyclothon when we extended our, the handlebars from 1.5 feet to the left and 1.5 feet to the right, because this is the minimum distance that we need from the other vehicles. So that was again a very successful event. And now we are planning a ride next month, or maybe next to next month, which would be free of cost for everyone. The only condition would be that you have to be informed.
Okay. So, great. I think these are some beautiful initiatives, and I'm sure that the viewers who are today's session will be definitely motivated by this, and wherever they are logging in from, they will definitely take a leaf of inspiration from whatever Dilip you have been doing. So, just came across your bio in which you also mentioned that you were a founder for the Delhi's peddler group and runner group. So,
Mhm.
can you just give us a few details about this particular group? How is it different from whatever you're doing with as a cycling mayor, or there is some kind of synergy between the two things?
Yeah, of course. See, whatever initiatives I take the initiatives. As an individual, I take an initiative. But to make those initiatives successful, I need the support of the team. So my group members in Daily Peddlers and Runners, they have always been supportive in my initiative, and I think only because of their support, on ground support, I've been able to, deliver those things on the ground. And this group was founded in 2017. Um, Initially, our thought was just to go for a leisure ride. So we formed this group, or for the, the weekend runs. But I think now this has been turned to a meaningful rides and healthy
So, how big is
runs.
this group right now?
Sorry,
How big?
we have more than 150 group members.
And on every weekday, on an average, how many riders come together?
See, right now our main focus is to promote cycle to commute. So we are less concentrating on the group ride, because we know post COVID, we have n number of groups now.
Okay.
So, but the riders are very limited, but the groups have, gone up. So they ride, but right now main focus is to promote cycle to work. And I think we are even, through the group, we are doing the same.
Fantastic. So primarily what I look at, Dilip, is that your charter, as I've
Mhm.
understood, is cycle to commute, basically getting cycling into mainstream commute towards work, from work to home, and also in the local area where distances are lesser, let's say till about 20 kilometers, people can easily, get onto their cycles and go ahead with it, right?
See, what happens, generally what I do when I meet the captive cyclists, on my route, I always ask them the route that they cover, the distance that they cover every day. So 20 kilometers, as you said, it is, very common for them. This is what they generally do. But yes, from the other people who are right now, used to cars, I expect them to, at least if their local distance is just 10 kilometers, they can try and, cycle, cycle to their commute. Especially, the running community. Uh, for us, it should not be a difficulty at all. This should not be a challenge, riding 10 kilometers for the local commutes or for work. And
Okay,
I think if we get that kind of, contribution from the running community, we can make a very good difference, in the city.
right. How about engaging children in this? Because children are going to be the youth for tomorrow and the adults for the day after, right? So,
Mhm.
are you planning any to do with children as such, so that in the future this comes into their lifestyle?
Of course, yes. We try and talk to the students by conducting workshops in the school. Uh, I have done a couple of workshops in the school as well to promote cycle to school, and even Bikes India Foundation on a greater level, on a large scale, have started cycle to school in Gujarat during the Gujarat Vibrant uh, seminar. So this is our prime focus, to promote cycle to school. And along with that, we are working with different agencies to, provide safe infrastructure to the kids around the schools.
Okay. And what do you think should be the government's outlook on this particular thing? Because I'm asking this question in the context of the accidents that the cyclists generally face. There is a morbid fear of getting hit by a car or another vehicle. on the busy roads. So what's happening on that front?
See, it's very unfortunate that we as cyclists, do not get due space or due respect on the road. I remember, there was a study which states that from 2017 to 2021, there were around 249 fatalities in Delhi alone. Uh, but having said that, I see that the captive cyclists, uh, those, daily wage laborers, they have not stopped cycling. Again, the condition, and even, if we talk about the group rides or the leisure riders or the competitive, even they have not stopped riding. So it does not stop you. But yes, when you talk about switching your use of bicycle from a leisure ride or from a competitive ride to your commute, then this comes as an excuse. But yes, I agree to it that yes, we are more vulnerable on the roads. But yes, we can overcome that problem, or we can, win over that problem only when we are in majority on the roads. So for that, I think instead of pleading for, a right, we have to rule the roads now, and that will only happen when we are more in numbers.
Got it. So just a side question on this, and this is a very interesting thing you mentioned from captive cycling perspective, and the one who do weekend rides for leisure. What I have also observed is that generally we talk about and we see these accident reports coming on the group where people are generally on a highway, right, rather than being using the sector roads or the service roads, which are generally used by the captive cyclists. So do you think that it would be fair to ask even the leisure cyclists not to be on the expressways, not to be on the very high speed, high speed traffic areas? Is that a fair assessment in your view, or am I asking for too much?
No, not at all. Since I represent all the categories, I represent the daily cyclist as well as that's a part of my life. I represent the leisure riders as well because I go for weekend rides as well, for long rides as well. I believe, see, yes, we have to be careful, but at the same time, do we have any alternative right now? We don't. But as I said, even after putting the efforts, we can make our roads cycle friendly, of course, but we cannot make our roads sports friendly. So we have to understand
Absolutely.
that, you can make the roads cycle friendly, but you cannot make the roads sports friendly. So when you're using a bicycle as a sports, then we have to look for, dedicated tracks and dedicated, the areas where we can go for long rides. Of course, right now the highways are not safe, but it's only because we do not consider cycle as a mode of transportation. We do not consider cycle as a prominent sport, because if we can build the highways, at least now when we are talking about sustainability, when we are talking about active mobility, when we are talking about inclusivity. So right now, if we are building any infrastructure, that should always have the cycle tracks along with the highways. So when we can have highways for the cars, why can't we have highways for the bikes?
Yeah, I think that really makes sense. Yeah, but then, one of the observations that I have had, when I've been moving across cities, wherever there is a board which says cyclists not allowed,
Mm-hmm.
I still find leisure cyclists to be there.
Yes, because right now they don't have any option. And along with the cyclists, you would see not only the cyclists, even the other two-wheelers,
Yeah.
the bikes are not allowed on such highways. So I will give you an example. Let's take an example. Recently, there's a decision that there's a national highway that is on the Gurgaon road. So the cyclists are banned, and not only the cyclists, but the auto and the bikes and the two-wheelers, they are also not allowed to ride there. Now, the other option is they would have to ride on a alternate road that we have. So do you think that would make our ride safer? No, it is equally unsafe because we are sharing the road, the alternate road as well with the cars and the bikes. Now imagine the super bikes. We all generally see on over the weekends, Saturday, Sunday, not only the cyclists, but the super bikers as well. They ride on those highways. So imagine if they are riding on the alternate road along with us. So those roads are equally unsafe for us. So
Right.
if you cannot give us the dedicated and safe space, then such bans do not make sense.
Okay. So then primarily what you're trying to say here, and as I gather it, it's about more about educating. Um, and I think you made some very fantastic points that the roads need to be made cycle friendly and not sports friendly. And people need to be sensitized in terms of, that guys, the roads have to be used by cyclists as well. So then
Yeah,
it
we have
comes
to
where the
understand that we
balance.
all, share the roads. We all have equal rights to use the road. Somewhere, I think, more than infrastructure, along with the infrastructure, behavior change is, the most important thing that we need to work on. Because roads are never unsafe. It's our behavior on the roads that makes the roads unsafe for us. So those who are driving, they are one of us. So if you are not riding a bike or a bicycle, probably you are driving a car. So who is a threat for me? Nobody else, but somebody from my community.
Correct. Yeah.
So that needs to be worked on.
Great. I think this has been a really a good opening. So it's been a long opening, but I think we've gathered a lot of good information. Thank you for sharing that perspective. So Dilip, let's pivot towards something more interesting as a leisure cyclist now,
Hmm.
because I have had a privilege of knowing you for a couple of rather more than a few years now as a part of the One Race fraternity, and I have seen you like cycling like crazy from one place to the other place. And I remember that, when we were going for that event for One Race in Chandigarh a few years back,
That was
you
the first edition.
cycled yeah. So, and you cycled the entire way. So why don't you share your experience with us? The entire 265 kilometers that stretch. I already see a gleam on your face. So I think it was an exciting experience with you.
It was
So why do
it was indeed, because I remember I took this decision to cycle from Delhi to Chandigarh, and it was since it was our debut in Chandigarh. So I, along with Gurpreet and Rajiv, we were discussing about the preparation. So I, shared my wild idea with them that this is what I'm thinking of. So they were like, okay, but do you think you can do it alone? Okay, I will take an initiative and I will ask the other fellow runners if somebody wants to join me. So initially, I was the only one. So I was like, don't worry, even if I'm alone, I will ride. But yes, before the date, we got other runners as well. Tagore
yeah.
joined me, Ripu joined me, and then Madan sir was also there. He accompanied. Uh, who was the fourth one? Who is the fourth one? There was a fourth one.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. That was from one of my cycling groups. That was one of my cycling group member who joined us from Sonipat.
Mhm.
So there were 4 to 5 cyclists, when we started. So, and I was already in Chandigarh, before the press conference of the One Race. So that was the time when a lockdown was happened in Delhi because of the pollution. So
Yeah.
I remember, I traveled back to Delhi and then cycled from Delhi to Chandigarh to resume that ride. So this is how it
Yeah.
was. And then,
I remember
since
that. Yeah.
I reached late night to that day, and then following day was the big collection day, and I had lot many, responsibilities. So that was very good experience, riding and then not sleeping for another 2 days, and then again, working from day to night, which was good.
So just take us through those 265 kilometers. I mean, some funny anecdotes. Maybe the team was saying, "Oh, this is a crazy stuff. What have we got into? Any hona, कितना होएगा?" Some kind of things which
See,
basically gives us the mood.
other than my family, other than my family, everybody said, don't do it. Why you want to do it alone? But my family, they know my strength, and so they know if I have decided something, if I want to do something, it means I want to do it. And that ride is memorable for me because that was Guru Nanak's
Yeah.
birthday. It was Guru Nanak Jayanti, 18th of November, if I'm not wrong. It was. So when we started from Delhi, it was from 𝗳𝗆𝗃𝗿𝗃 I was joined by 𝗄𝗆𝗰𝗴 and 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃. And after we crossed, 𝗄𝗆𝗃𝗃, before we reached 𝗄𝗆𝗃𝗃, uh, there were farmer protests going on that time. So we crossed that area, and before we reached 𝗄𝗆𝗃𝗃, I got a call from Gurpreet that the farmer laws have been taken back. So that day is always
Yeah,
memorable.
wow.
Uh,
And what a day.
he
What a day.
exactly
Yeah,
what a day it was, and I remember the message I was trying to convey was Pavan Guru Pani Pita Mata Dharman. So
correct.
if the environment is not healthy, we cannot live a healthy life. So keep your environment healthy. So I was conveying the message of Guru Nanak, and the good thing happened about the farmers' law as well. So again, I think that ride would be with me throughout my life.
Okay. Some interesting conversations during the way.
I think no, interesting was the only. I think as I said, interesting was the best part was this farmer laws. When they were taken back. So
Okay.
throughout, then we met the other. We kept on meeting other people on the route, and everybody was celebrating the same thing.
Okay. And what kind of breaks did you take during this long ride? Because I'm sure you did not pedal the entire way. Um,
Of course, yeah, we took the
yeah.
breaks, and breaks were limited to the refreshment
Mhm.
for breakfast, for tea, and for lunch.
And what was the distance, stoppage distance?
Since we were three, there were four other cyclists as well. So whenever we felt like having something, so I remember there were 4 to 5 breaks throughout the journey,
Okay.
and there were other runners who were going from Delhi to Chandigarh. So they accompanied us, and they escorted us, which was good, which was not planned, but yes, they came for the support.
Yeah. So one of the funny things which I have experienced, because I used to cycle a lot some time back and have done quite a few century rides, is that last 25 kilometers I'm really not able to sit on the seat because the bumps start hurting. So in 265 kilometers, did you experience that, or the team felt that?
No, that
So
that did not happen with me. But yes, by the time I reached Chandigarh, I was like, I was half asleep.
mhm.
So I remember the moment we entered Chandigarh, I was telling Ripu, Ripu, मेरी तो अक्खा हुन ना बंद हो रही हैं. So let's,
Okay,
reach the destination
yeah,
and get some good sleep.
right, yeah, I understand because it's very pretty exhaustive. And this 265 kilometers, how long was the ride was?
265
Yeah,
kilometers.
so in terms of time, how long was
Uh,
it?
that was for, I think, 12 hours.
So that's, I mean, 12 hours of endurance, definitely it will invite some sleep.
Yeah.
Great, great. Yeah, but that's the level one. What about level two? Delhi, Agra, Delhi, 400 kilometers, 2 days. How
That
did
was,
that crazy
last,
idea come to you?
that was again, something, you know, out of blue came to my mind. It was last year. So I was like, let's welcome 2023 in a different way.
Mhm.
So I thought of, riding in formals, which has never been done, at least not for 400 kilometers.
Yeah.
So I planned my ride, and again, I was alone initially. Then I shared the plan in my group, and I was joined by my other three group riders. So it was 1st of January when we started from Gurdwara Damdama Sahib in Delhi, and
Okay.
we ended our ride in Guru Ka Tal in Agra. So the other three riders, of course, they were in their cycling attire, but I was the one who was wearing formals, including the shoes, because I wanted to promote cycle to commute from that ride. So yeah, that was quite funny because there were four riders who started from Delhi, and after we crossed Mathura, there was heavy fog, and we two riders were 5 to 10 kilometers ahead of the other two riders. So the
Mhm.
moment we crossed Mathura border and entered Agra, there were heavy fog, dense fog. So we told the other two riders to stay back in Mathura. Already means even though they had already decided that they would stay in Mathura, but we also told them not to come, to Agra. So two of us, reached Agra. We took rest, and again early morning, we started from Agra. And by the time we reached back Mathura, the other friend, he started getting cramps. So he took the bus and he reached Delhi. I was left all alone. It was 5:30 in the evening, and when I entered Haryana after crossing Mathura, the only thought that I had in my mind, ki, Babaji, so far the ride has been really good, but hun puncture na karana. And believe me, after 20 minutes of ride, my bike got punctured. Although
So
I was
that's why,
carrying,
yeah.
I was carrying the puncture kit, I was carrying the pump with me, but being alone on the highway, and that to be in winters when it is totally dark, so it was quite funny. I stopped at one of the shops there, roadside shop, and so they were like, "Arey Sardaji, ye kahan par hoga yahan?" But don't worry, I will do it myself. So I repaired that, and then I started my ride and reached Delhi late night.
Yeah. So that's called as intuition.
Yeah.
So you already saw that fourth coming and the thought was there in the mind, but then, yeah, I mean, I
Yeah,
would have
I
loved.
think only the thoughts turn into action.
Yeah, yeah. And I would say, I would have loved, or everybody on the session today would have loved that you did not get that puncture. But if you did not get that puncture, then you would have not have this nice anecdote
Absolutely.
where, you actually sat down and, did this. And this is actually a very funny thing because sometimes as a rider, the moment you get out and you've planned like a long ride, and in the first 5 kilometers, you get a puncture and you're done with it. So you get down and do that stuff of mending the cycle. And in fact, I learned it the harder way in my rides because I initially never carried a puncture kit with me. Just thinking that, oh, puncture will not, it's not going to hit me. We have that optimist point of view. मेरे ना कुछ बुरा नहीं होना, सब बढ़िया है.
Uh-huh.
And at 50th kilometer, when you are actually going to take a U-turn and come back to your destination, that's where you get the puncture. And now you're
Absolutely.
scratching your head because you're not neither here, you're neither there. So yeah, some great things. Fantastic. Okay. So how different was this, Delhi, Agra, Delhi from your Chandigarh ride?
See, Chandigarh
Any?
ride again, as I said, Chandigarh ride was supposed to be the same, but it was made different because of the circumstances. Wherein this Agra, Delhi ride was totally to promote cycle to commute.
Okay.
There were people, who were watching me on the highway. I remember there were few guys who stopped, who took selfies with us. So because I had that message, on my bicycle in the front and at the back as well, that you cycle to commute. Because what happens, uh, you would agree to it that we ride 50 kilometers in the morning and come back home, take shower, and drive a diesel car and go to the office.
Yeah. Irony. Yeah, you're
So
right.
that's the irony, We want to cycle in a clean air using cars. Same goes with our runners as well. If you would, of course, you have been to Nehru Park and Lodi Garden. You see the number of cars in the morning,
Yeah.
and we runners, take those cars there.
Yeah.
Why? Because we want to run in clean air.
Yeah. Beautiful thought, Dilpreet. And it's very intriguing, and yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So be the change you want to see. That's the
Absolutely.
that's the message. And it's really lovely to hear from you in terms of that. You've taken this ardent task of cycle to commute, and you've gone places all the way till Agra. Into in actually setting an example that yes, this can be done. Well, we don't expect people to really do that kind of distances when it comes to cycle to commute. Hats off from the perspective of the determination and the effort that you've put in.
See,
How? Yeah,
it sounds like an achievement to everybody because a person like me who is doing it, who owns a car, thankfully, we are also, although we are from the middle class, but we are privileged than the others. But there are many cyclists who are doing it, but those are invisible cyclists. we do not respect them. We treat them as poor class. So we have this thought, this thought process needs to be changed. That okay, if we cycle to work, we do not become poor. We will remain rich. We will remain privileged. So we have to get, out of that thought process.
Yeah, I think that's a very valid point. Thank you, Dalpreet, for sharing. Just a pivot on this thought. Let's say that tomorrow you get up and you see a rosy day that everybody wants to get to cycle to work. Now comes the question, which cycle to buy? You and this has, like, for example, I started using a hybrid, and then I got to road bike eventually, right? Because I wanted to get into the sports cycling mode. So what is your thought process on this, that which is the ideal cycle for commute? How do we really solve this puzzle, the puzzle of gears, the puzzle of the seat, the tires, and things like that?
See, being a Delhiite, I can say that we believe in show off like anything.
Exactly, yeah.
So that's one of the problems that we have, and that has become part of our behavior as well now. So if my fellow rider is riding a cycle of for rupees 1 lakh, I will go and buy for 1.5 lakh. So we have to get out of that competition. And about buying a bicycle, it all depends on your intent or your usage. Because if you frankly ask me, which is the comfortable bicycle for local commute, if it's a distance is just 10 kilometers for everyday ride, to your work, I think that normal bicycle, the 𝗳𝗏𝗁 bicycle, is the most comfortable bicycle. The reason I can't, buy it, because I have I live on the second floor, so I cannot lift that bicycle every day to my second floor. Otherwise, yes, there are different cycles. We have roadies, we have hybrid, we have MTBs.
Yeah.
And the other one we call city bicycles. So that all depends on your usage. What is the intent of your buying a bicycle? If you want to go for weekend rides as well as your daily commutes, because whatever we see on YouTube or Instagram, or so those recommending brands to you, they're getting paid from the brands. So let's not follow them. Set your budget, how much you can spend.
Yeah.
And look at the components of the bicycle and buy the best one under your budget. So look at the budget first, and then the usage.
Right.
All the brands are good. Nobody is in the market is going to sell you anything bad.
Okay. And generally people get confused about the gear configurations. Any thoughts on that bit, Dalip?
Then again, that depends on whether you are going for trail ride, off-roading, or you're riding on a flat route. So all depends on the usage of the bicycle, where exactly you're using. Otherwise, you would see there are many cyclists who do the long rides on a non-gear bicycle. They have done, Delhi to Kanyakumari to Kashmir on a non-gear bicycle. I remember my Delhi-Agra-Delhi ride. One of my fellow riders who joined me, he was riding a non-gear bicycle. So it all depends on your usage and the surface of the route.
Okay, great. So basically what you're saying is that it's all about the mindset. It's not really about the gears and the configuration. It's about what is suiting your budget as well as the purpose of your cycling, right? And from a perspective of cycling to commute, any decent cycle in a good, decent budget, which is good for like 10 to 20 kilometers is a good buy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But if you can afford, I would suggest, for in Delhi especially, hybrid bikes are good.
Okay.
Because we have so far, we have good roads in Delhi as compared to other cities. We have better roads in Delhi.
Okay. And for the other towns where the roads may not be that good as Delhi or NCR, what is your take on that? What kind of cycles should people really adopt?
MTB should work, or the city bikes.
Okay. Right. Got it. Fantastic. Thank you for that one, Dilip. So in next 3 to 5 years, because you are as a bicycle mayor, so any plans you would like to share with the team here who's present today in next 3 to 5 years? What kind of changes are you expecting, visualizing, and how the community or the government is actually going to contribute to that?
See, I see nowadays you would see there are lot many talks about sustainability. There are lot many talks about active mobility. You even in Delhi you would see there are lot many projects by the state government about for the footpaths and the cycle tracks. So governments have started talking about it. Even Bikes India Foundation in different cities with the help of the different bicycle mayors, they are doing different projects with different government agencies, especially with Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. So since we see that okay, there's a talk now, so I am sure in next 3 to 5 years we'll see a drastic change. If not many, but yes, you would see few cyclists on the road for the daily commute. People not see in Delhi, if we won't do it, you will have to do it forcefully because we have already seen a lockdown for the past couple of years. We are seeing the lockdown because of the pollution. All the offices and the schools get shut. So yeah,
Mhm.
if you don't do it willingly, then forcefully you would have to do it.
Yeah. What about in comparison to the e-bike, the e-scooter, where you have all this thing happening in the green? How is that in composition to the cycling to commute that you are promoting?
See, as I say, not everybody can cycle. If I can cycle for 20 kilometers every day, so I cannot expect the same from everybody or some person who is 60 years old. So e-cycles is a very good alternative for them, but e-scooters are different. So that depends on the high speed that
Mhm.
that they offer. So anything within 25 kilometers is good and safe. Means I would say they can share the road with the cyclists, and anything above that would have to have a different road with the motor vehicles. Because we
Okay.
see, in Chandigarh, you must have seen that there is a speed limit for two-wheelers as well. In Delhi, we don't.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Delhi, there is a speed limit, but people may
Not
not
for the
follow it as
two-wheelers.
strictly as they do it
We
in
do not have the
Chandigarh.
speed limit for the two-wheelers.
Okay. So got it. So it's not displayed. Is that what
Yeah,
you're saying? Yeah.
nobody knows about it.
Yeah.
That for the bikes or for the two-wheelers, there is any speed limit. They ride at their own will.
Yeah, got it. So, you just mentioned that Ministry of Urban Affairs. So,
Housing
I
and
I also realized that you have been doing a lot of work with them. So, can you just give us a deep dive into that? What kind of activities are you doing in order to promote cycle to commute, as far as these ministries are concerned?
See, with the ministries, as I said, Cycle to School is one of the initiatives that has been taken and that has been started from Gujarat. And recently, I with other bicycle mayors of India, we were in 𝗵𝗵𝗁, Pune, for the
Mhm.
smart city workshop there. So that comes under Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. So smart city mission is one of the initiatives taken by the ministry. When the purpose of that model is to make streets for all, healthy streets, people-friendly cities. So slowly and gradually, I think rest of the cities will also take learning from these smart cities and will adopt the same model.
Yeah, great, great. So let's pivot now to running. We've talked a lot about cycling, Dilip, right now, and I'm really looking forward to see you on 6th of Feb. Our one race event, Super Sick event, is coming up in
Mhm.
Gurgaon. So what are your preparations for that? How much you are running? What's happening? I also realize that a lot of people from the family are running for this.
See, one race, that, okay, means I don't know whether one race is a part of me or I'm a part of one race. We
Yeah.
both are part of each other. I started running with one race. Uh, One race, especially, if I today, if anybody in the running community knows me, it's only because of one race, because of the
Yeah.
stage that was given to me by one race. I remember, I was going for this VDHM. While going for the lineup, I met one of the runners and he was like, "So, I have seen you in Chandigarh on the stage. You are from one race." No, yeah, I am from. So that identity, I have got from one race. And
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, absolutely.
but this is the only run when I go along with my family. They are always excited about it, and my mom and dad, they also win in their categories as well, respective categories. So let's see how it goes this year.
So how much are you running this time?
See, I have not planned yet, but I'm going to run half
Okay.
because for the past so many years, be it Chandigarh, be it Anandpur Sahib, or be it Gurgaon, Delhi, I do not get to run. I'm always,
Yeah.
I was always busy with the preparation. So this year, I have taken a relaxation. So let's see how it goes.
Okay, great. So I would be really longing to see you on the route. I will be
Of course,
running
if not
along.
running, then probably, promoting bicycles.
Absolutely, absolutely. Look forward to do that. In fact, one of the good things that we have seen in the one race events is that our racing marshals
Mhm.
are all on cycles, which is
Yeah, luckily,
which is very different.
they are from Delhi Pilots and Runners
Yeah,
Group. So especially for the SARS category,
yeah.
with
So I
squad
have
and
seen, yeah. So this is really great because in one race, what we've seen is that not only we're promoting the running as a fitness, but even if you look at all the supporting staff, the paraphernalia which is organizing this event, is generally using a method of commuting from one place to other, which is very very eco-friendly, which obviously means cycling. So that's one of the differences that I have seen in the
that
events
what
that.
makes us different from others.
Sorry.
That what makes us different from others.
Exactly, exactly. And in fact, I just received a message from Preet. There was a gentleman who really praised the Super Sick running booth today in the Tata Mumbai Marathon. And this is a lovely testimony which is coming from all the runners. And
Absolutely
all the power that we get is from each other. So I think it's kudos to the team.
true.
Yeah. So, Dilip, just one of the things that I have come across is that people generally shy away from cycling if they fall or they have a morbid fear of getting hurt. They don't go back to cycling. So, have you come across any of such incidents where people have kind of not got back to cycling because of getting hurt or something like that? How, and if yes, then how do you really overcome that?
See, I do see some resistance, when they come across or when they meet some, unfortunate incident. Even in my group, I have seen a couple of riders, but you have to motivate them and you have to tell them that, okay, please come back stronger. So when they get the right, motivation from the right partners, that can get them back on the cycle. Because no matter, even if you're, driving cars, if you're riding motorbikes, there's always, you are vulnerable on roads. All the users, a car driver, for them, a truck is a threat. For us, auto, two-wheeler, bikes, cars, they all are threat. So you have to see. As I said, if we are riding bicycle as a sport or we are riding bicycle as a thing. So when you're going to your work, ride at a slow pace to your extreme left and avoid flyovers is something we can do. And wherever you see, separate tracks, service lane, or the cycle tracks, use them.
Right. Great, great. Thank you for that note. I think a lot of people will now take up or rediscover the passion of cycling. And you are almost at the top of the hour, Dilip. It's like 54 minutes into the session,
Oh, wow.
and we've not even realized that
Yeah.
seems that we've got into a very interesting conversation. Yeah,
See, this actually, cycling is very interesting because you understand, we as a runner, we go for a run because we are health conscious, right? But I think more than health conscious now, we are social media conscious. That's why we go for it. Otherwise, imagine, in the AQI of 400 we are running, so we are not doing justice to our health. So as a runner, it becomes more important for us to contribute a bit and make the air clean so that we can have a healthy life.
Yeah, you've given one point to my wife today, Dalip, because
Okay. And what is that?
this is that you are a runner because you want to put posts on social media.
See, that's a bit of fact.
No, that's on the lighter side, but I'm sure this point is going to come from her to me just after this session. So thank you for that, Dilip.
Yeah.
I'll get even Stevens with you on the fourth then on this bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I think that's really a great point that you've made now. So cycling to commute versus sports cycling is different.
Absolutely.
Do you really see that people will graduate from a level where they are a leisure biker like me today, or a leisure runner, or a passionate runner who run in the morning or run on the weekends, and then they still use the primary mode as a car or a public transport to go from one place to the other? In how many years do you think this transition is really going to happen?
That depends, the kind of people we are dealing with. For me, I think this section is a soft target. Why? Because you guys already own a bicycle. You do not have to go and buy one. So I always say, bicycle was invented as a mode of transportation. And now if I talk about transportation, it is the greenest mode of transportation that keeps you healthy, that keeps you stress-free, that helps you save time, and that probably, saves you money as well. So not only it keeps you healthy, it keeps the entire city healthy. So when you run, it keeps the individual healthy who's running. But when you cycle, it keeps the entire, city healthy.
Yeah. And that healthy
So when
city
you
pays back.
understand this, I think, this realization of this is important. You just need to realize it. And once you realize, it's the same thing happened with me as well. I started cycling when, odd and even rule was imposed in Delhi. That was the time I realized how critical the problem for air pollution is. Otherwise, I was least bothered. I was only using bicycle for my group for the weekend rides. But that realization is important, because I'm a Delhiite, Delhi has given me a lot.
Yeah.
So my city becomes my responsibility.
Yeah. And in terms of the acceptance of cycling towards women, because I have seen that generally there are less participants, and that you've also been dealing with a lot of women issues in your corporate life. So any thoughts on that?
Yeah, we have done a couple of cycle schools for women only in partnership with the other organizations. Like during the Rahagiri, we have done quite a few sessions for exclusively for women cycle to school, or no, cycle school. Sorry. So yeah, those sessions are really helpful, and we see a lot of interest coming from the women. I still get queries that when we are going to do the next cycle school. Even from my office only, there have been females coming to for that cycle school and to learn bicycles. So I think, and even in other cities we are doing it. In Kochi we are doing it, and in Ahmedabad we have recently started cycling. Oh, sorry,
Okay.
maybe 𝗳𝗏𝗰𝗋𝗋, and in Kochi is cycling, and in Delhi we are doing cycle schools with women. So I remember, doing
Yeah.
one with the Greenpeace Foundation and means Bikes India Foundation in partnership with Greenpeace, and then Bikes India Foundation in partnership with the Rahagiri Foundation and helped Delhi Breathe. So there are a lot of there are a lot many global organizations working for the same cause, and we are partner with them.
Great, great. And so how do you balance between the corporate responsibilities, the family responsibilities, and these lovely initiatives that you're taking for the future of the city and country as a whole?
See, this keeps me going. If I don't do it, I wouldn't stress, because no matter how hard your day is in the office, how stressful your day in the office, when you write back, you are relaxed. Means I find myself, as energetic as I'm in the morning, when I come back from the work. just because I'm riding, because it gives you an opportunity to explore the city, to see how beautiful your city is. And of course, if you see any improvement areas, then also, you need to be on the saddle to see it and work.
Yeah, I totally understand, because the slower you go, the more details you get. Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's absolutely a fantastic point. Yeah. So Dilip, last question for today,
Mhm.
and that's going to be like a rapid fire, which you have to answer without giving a blink of an eye.
Okay.
So, but I already know the answer. So, but still, I will ask you this question. So, between and running and cycling, what's the one which you pick up?
No. Running, as I said, running keeps me healthy. But if I talk about the cycling, it keeps the entire environment healthy. See, without the healthy environment, I cannot have a healthy life.
Mm-hmm.
COVID, you remember, we have seen COVID lockdown time. We have seen lot many problems. Not everybody was affected. There were there were lot many people who never got infected because of COVID. There are lot many other diseases as well. Not everybody is getting affected because of those. But understand this climate change on a global level and air pollution on a city level is affecting 100% of the population. Nobody is
Mm-hmm.
untouched of these two problems. So no matter how healthy or my lifestyle is, no matter whether I go for a run every morning, but if my environment is not healthy, if the air is not clean, it's of no use. So if I want to have a healthy run, I would have to keep on cycling and make my city livable.
Right, right. So basically, you are saying that both of these are connected, and
Absolutely, yes.
you don't want
See,
to pick up one.
if you are health conscious, so you would have to contribute your bit to keep your city healthy as well.
Yeah, right. So, what are your top five? I would say giveaways today to the people who have been part of the show,
Mhm.
uh, in terms of that, how do they overcome this hump of moving from their conventional method of commute, even to the smaller distances, to your idea of cycle to commute?
See, people, give different reasons, and somewhere they're right as well, to not to cycle. So I think, those reasons can become the reason for you to cycle. Let's talk about five problems. Let's talk about why, you should. Let's talk
Yeah.
about five problems that in the city that we face. One is the problem of air pollution, noise pollution, traffic pollution, then your health, and then the time. And solution to all these five problems is cycle.
I think that's a fantastic takeaway for the audience today, Dilip. So we are already on the top of the hour. So Dilip, I would just want to thank you for being part of One Foot Forward with Harmeet. And after this interesting discussion, I would want to re-christian the name of today's session from One Foot Forward with Harmeet to One Pedal Forward with Dilip.
That would be
So
great.
it's been really revealing, because uh, before I came and interacted with you today on the show, I was limited in the information, and I was
Mhm.
just looking at you and your work from a cycling perspective, which is for fitness. But
Mhm.
after having a discussion with you today, I've really realized that you are really working on a very noble cause, cycling to commute, to bring an environment which in effect will give a very healthy environment to people and the future generations. So I've been, I would say I've been very lucky to have been your host today. And all the people who have attended this show today with us, they have really got an insight into what you have been up to, what are the various thought processes that have been going in your mind, what ideally a cycling mare is actually all about, and what kind of initiatives you and the other cyclists are taking in order to bring a shift into our environment in the way we move from our home to offices or the other places. And this really gives me and everybody an insight into what kind of future we are going into. So thank you so much, Dalip, for being on the show. And
Thanks to you,
this was,
Harmeet, for making this voice stronger. And I believe together we can,
yeah,
because uh,
absolutely.
because as I said, as an individual one can take an initiative, but as a team we can make that initiative a successful step.
Fantastic. Great words, Dilip, and thank you. Have a wonderful Sunday ahead. And I'm
You too.
sure that the people have really loved it. Thank you
I
so
hope
much.
so.
So,
All
thank you,
right. Thanks,
everyone.
Harmeet.
Yeah, thank you, everyone who has been on this show today and got to meet Dilip, understand, and hear his thoughts. And we would come back on One Race next week again uh, with another interesting story from the bag of lovely, people that we have in the One Race. Thank you for watching the One Foot Forward with Harmeet only by One Race. Have a good evening. Bye.